Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty interesting news and a little bit more of a proper update from what we actually saw from the news earlier on today in regards to the brand new PlayStation 5 and Xbox updates, where in all honesty, even from the initial conversation we had with it earlier on today, it does seem like Xbox is getting the preferential treatment. And with this though, we actually have a little more intriguing kind of bad news in regards to PlayStation 5, where apparently right now, a lot of the developers are actually fully in the dark, and they actually didn't even really know too much about this, and as well as just kind of haven't had a proper form of communication going on. So we're going to talk about this, kind of have another like part two, I'd say, of the same conversation going on. So we're going to talk about this, the future updates, future things, and also what PlayStation actually can go and do to make sure these proper updates are also being utilized and showcased in the first place. So a lot of interesting stuff on regards to the FSR 2.0 update and the next console updates too as well. So let's go and talk about it. As well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the signups and all that good stuff. We have the Twitter and Twitch room as well down below. We got the Weeble, got the Coinbase, got the everythings as well. And I appreciate you guys all so much for clicking on the video. Let's go dive on into it. So, in case you guys missed the video earlier on throughout these past few days, we made a video talking about the new AMD update, which does go and affect the Xbox Series X, S, and Xbox One consoles. And this is pretty much the next really big console update, we would say, mainly because just the numbers are just looking good. It's kind of like an HDR, VRR type upgrade where it's just all internal through the actual AMD GPU, so the thing that gives you the power, the thing kind of powered up the consoles itself. And as you guys know, AMD does make both Xbox and PlayStation. So we're going to talk about this a little bit more because we kind of had the earlier take of Xbox has it confirmed, PlayStation not confirmed, but it's probably going to happen. And this kind of supports what I'm going to go and say too as well, and kind of even cooler stuff in regards to it actually being open sourced, which in theory means anyone can kind of go and utilize it. So with this, we have an article over here from TweetTown, which kind of adds a little bit more extra gusto from what we talked about before, where AMD pushes the FSR 2.0 out for the Xbox developers, which we covered before, especially because we know that the PC to Xbox conversion is pretty easy, which is also why we have Game Pass on both PC and Xbox, but the PS5 devs are apparently just in the dark. AMD is very excited to provide FSR 2.0 to Xbox developers. Thanks, Microsoft, for the continued collaboration, but of course, sorry, Sony. So AMD only yesterday posted the official source code to Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2.0, or FSR 2.0, which means it'll spread out far and wide to game developers across the world. But in further news, FSR 2.0 is available now for Xbox developers, with the official GPU Open Twitter account tweeting. We are very excited to provide Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2 to Xbox developers. FSR2 can be found in most recent FSR2 can be found in the most recent GDKX samples, building cross-platform for Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Windows Desktop. Many thanks to Microsoft for this continued collaboration. So first thing first off the official statement. It does kind of go and push that it's a little bit more closely tied with Xbox, mainly because they're officially on official accounts, official records, thanking Microsoft for them to continue with them, and it did originally start off on Windows, which I'm sure Microsoft, if they want to make sure any games or xCloud or streaming and everything else, Game Pass, whatever, I'm sure they want to work closely with them to make sure it works. Especially don't forget, AMD GPUs are also in a lot of PC systems, and what a PC use, Windows, aka Microsoft. So we kind of just know it's officially coming to Xbox, we officially know it's coming, and that's why the PS5 is still kind of up in the air. Now, once again, every single update we've ever seen from AMD does at some point end up on PlayStation. It's literally made through AMD, any type of upgrade, any type of other stuff has always come to PS5, although sometimes a few months later. We talked about it earlier on today. But for this, we still don't know if Sony has FSR 2.0 coming to PlayStation 5 development kits. But with FSR 2.0 being open source, it doesn't stop game developers from actually adding FSR 2.0 support on the PS5. Sony should clarify whether this will happen, considering how closely they actually worked with AMD on the semi-custom APU inside the PlayStation 5. Come on, Sony. So I would kind of agree on this, mainly because with this, Sony themselves has specifically worked with AMD to custom make their GPU. It is actually slightly different than the Xbox's side and also for even PC GPUs, and at the end of the day it makes a lot of sense because they already have worked with them. Right now, PlayStation has sold more consoles, aka they've worked more with AMD to go and get better products out there and more faster, more production going out there for the PS5. So first and foremost, it's good news, although it's not official, like not officially on the tweets and official notice and officially working with them. But as I mentioned, it is open source. Open source, if you guys don't know, pretty much means the file code is out there. So if you're smart and you're working on a game, coding a game, developing a game, you literally have, it's almost like a cheat sheet where you could basically be like, okay, here's everything we need, and this is what we need to implement it up. It's like, I think the cheat sheet example is probably the best metaphor, because it'll have the list of how to do everything, what the code is already out there, and you can reference it, utilize it, and add it to your games, because you could literally just, it's available. Sometimes you do actually have more proper technology when it comes to things that are private. So that think like, I don't know, maybe RTX. I'm not sure if actually RTX is open source or not. But just imagine the coding is different or they don't have it public. So basically you just cannot utilize it overall. Some things are open source, like say like OBS, which is the program I'm even using to record this. And that basically means that as we're making these videos, anyone can go and use this, fine tune this, and make it even better, or they could add on to it themselves. It's all public online. So that's why no matter what, it probably will be coming to the PlayStation, although the bad news is we still don't have official sources. Now, I'm so underneath the kind of what we talked about earlier on today, is that I do think a lot of these official sources probably will come out at some point. Like I've mentioned before, like all like the VRR support or HDR support, it does at some point come to PlayStation, although usually a few months later. We usually haven't seen Xbox get a lot more stuff a little bit quicker than anything. So I think either way, it's still kind of bad news. I think it's bad news more that Xbox is getting it first. I think it's bad news that we don't know officially when PlayStation will get it. But at the end, like the long term, I don't think it's that big of a game changer. Because like I said, if AMD is working with it and made it, they are obviously going to try to make it available as soon as possible with PlayStation. They may not have had preference, or maybe PlayStation didn't pay extra money for it, or maybe Xbox did. We don't know, that's all speculation. But as of right this second, we do not know what's kind of going on with the long term for PS5. But like I said, with it being open source, that means that no matter what, if a developer really wanted to add it, they can, even without AMD's permission. So AMD actually currently has over 20 games with FSR support so far, which once again, if you guys kind of look through some of these games too as well, you guys can kind of go and see. God of War, Forspoken, etc. So these games are not fully, like, don't forget, this is like old God of War, which can end up on Steam. So it's probably more on the Steam version rather than God of War Ragnarok. Forspoken as well, don't forget, also is coming to, PC. Same with Deathloop, although. But like I said, a lot of these games are also games that are pretty popular with the PlayStation 5 market or also available on PlayStation itself. More namely, once again, Forspoken or God of War. So it also kind of, once again, even though it's kind of bad news, it's not officially added. And like I said, it's kind of maybe quote-unquote bad news because it's going towards the PC versions instead, or even Xbox versions. At least we are seeing this kind of crossover, which once again, kind of supports the argument that this will come out to PlayStation at some point. So you guys can see like Abyss World, Asturgos, Curse of Stars, Deathloop, Asylum, EVE Online, Farming Sim 22, Forspoken, Grounded, God of War, once again, not Ragnarok, this is probably the Steam version, Hitman 3, Microsoft Flight Sim, Over Prime, Perfect World Remake, Rescue Party Live, Super People, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, etc., as well. So the company has said that FSR is being adopted 2x as faster than NVIDIA's DLSS upscaling technology, with FSR powering 113 games this year, while it's taken 3.5 years for NVIDIA to get DLSS into 180 games. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts. So as I mentioned, as of right now, I'm probably going to put this a little bit more towards the bad news side. PlayStation does not have the official support yet. They don't have the official, proper, development kits for it yet. And right now, we do have the official tweets and official announcements stating that Xbox will be getting it, will be working on, and they even officially thanked Microsoft itself. But this is, I do think, a big feature that these next-gen consoles need to have and want to have. Like I keep mentioning, like HDR and VRR, these are just kind of like baseline technologies that TVs and game consoles and everything else want to utilize to kind of maintain up that baseline level of their statistics. Think like how well the GPUs, how well things are being filled on in, how good resolution is, how good encoding is, and it just is very much needed. So all around, kind of bad news I would say it's as of this second, that we still don't have official support. But with the open world open source that we mentioned with the PlayStation 5 does bump up the likelihood that we'll be getting it very soon, or developers can just use it either way. And as well, like I keep on mentioning, anything that's been a big update with Xbox usually does come to PC sooner rather than later. We may just have to wait a bit longer if you guys are more PlayStation PlayStation 5 fans in the first place. So kind of give me your thoughts and comments down below. Are you guys hyped? Are you guys disappointed? What do you guys think? Overall, do you guys agree or disagree? As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well, the everything else down, Target links and stuff down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed, and I'll see you guys play tomorrow for more videos.